It was a perfect day for it. My wife was with me. Chicago is my favorite band of all time, and we had seats in the 9th row. See, at this time I was supposed to be recovering from a knee replacement, but there were last-minute complications and the surgery didn't happen until several months later. The seats we had were designated for handicapped people, which is why we took them. I was supposed to be handicapped. And really, I was. There was a good reason why I was getting the knee replaced. It didn't work anymore and kept me in constant pain. I was already walking with a cane, so I took the walker that I was supposed to use after the surgery. We went through the security and found our seats. We were practically sitting on the stage. It was incredible. A couple of months earlier, I got to see Don Felder, Styx, and my other favorite band, REO's Speedwagon, at the White River Amphitheater. I was in the 20th row there, right in front of the soundboard. I thought those seats were amazing. They were the nosebleed section compared to these. To make it even better, they were basically plastic lawn chairs, so there was plenty of elbow room, space to get up and walk around and all that. The place served wine all through the concert, so there was lots of coming and going. Very relaxed, very comfortable. A couple of years ago, my wife and I saw a concert at the Tacoma Dome. Our seats looked like this. I like this a whole bunch better. Before the concert started, I wanted to get a quick peek at Keith Howland's pedal board. Turns out there's not much to see, but I did get to spend some time looking at the set list. This promised to be an incredible concert. I was still standing there when the band came out and started playing Introduction. Some security dude started nagging at me to get to my seat. Now, remember, I'm using this walker, I have a bad knee, and I'm limping badly. This guy wants me to sprint. Not gonna happen. He kept yammering at me, and I finally turned around, pointed to the walker, and said, "I'm working on it, okay?" For some reason, that penetrated his skull, and he left me alone. Time to settle in and watch the concert.
Well, it's great to be here. It's great to see all your faces. Although, now that I'm very old, I can't see the faces out there. Could you make some noise, please, in the back? So yes, tonight will be a very, very lengthy show. That's because we've had a very, very lengthy career.
He wasn't exaggerating. They did everybody's favorites, plus a number of songs off some of their albums that never got any airplay, like these.
Wake up, sunshine, open up your sleepy eyes for me. I've been waiting all the night, waiting for the light.
I shot video of as much of the concert as I could before my battery ran out, but a couple of times I just had to put the camera down and enjoy the music, especially when they started playing my favorite song. I think he's enjoying it too. Whoever you are, dude, I hope you don't mind me revealing that you were at a Chicago concert. I'm a guitarist, as you may be able to tell, and I could watch Keith Howland play all day. A while back when I was in my favorite music store, I heard a guy tell another guy, "Yeah, you can't play leads on a 12-string, it's strictly a rhythm instrument." Keith Howland comes along and says, "Oh, really?" Even so, my main man is Jimmy Pankow. The first time I saw Chicago, he wasn't with them and they had a substitute. It just wasn't the same without Jimmy's antics, and I'm happy to say he's been there every time I've seen them since. But the guy who stole the show from me this time was the percussionist, Walfredo Reyes Jr. He talked a lot to the audience and frequently did this thing where he's doing all his playing with one hand while he waves his right hand in the air. When they did I'm a Man, he and Trissim Bowden had one of the most phenomenal drum battles I have ever seen. This battle goes on for just under 5 minutes. In true Chicago fashion, they give you everything you expected and more. I wish I could show you the whole thing, but I like my channel not having copyright issues. So if you want to see it, you'll just have to go to a concert yourself. Well, heck phooey darn oh shucks. Another time, he grabbed a djembe and some maracas so Robert Lamb, Keith Howland, and he could do Another Rainy Day in New York City. It proved he can be as mellow as a sleeping kitten, too. Oh yes, you may have noticed her. The more wine she had, the more she thought she could dance. It was quite entertaining. I've seen Chicago 3 times now since I moved to Washington, and I'm pretty sure they had 3 different percussionists. In fact, the first time I saw them, I didn't realize they had one until Robert Lamb introduced him as the guy back there in the toy section. At both that concert and the next one I saw, I couldn't figure out what good the percussionist was. You couldn't hear anything he was doing. This time was totally different. Walfredo Reyes Jr. is the guy they've been looking for. After the vocals in Another Rainy Day were done, Ray Herrmann came out and played a wonderful sax solo. That brings me to my next subject, Ray Herrmann. I first saw him with Chicago about 3 years ago, I think. It may have been more than that. They came to town touring with REO Speedwagon, and the first time I saw him on the Jumbotron, I said, "Who the heck is that and where's Walt Parazator?" He was really stiff and seemed unsure of himself. When Walt plays, he usually holds his sax to the side like this so he can move around, dance, and otherwise act like a total nut. Ray Herrmann was like this. When the band did a ballet for a girl in Buchanan and it came time for his flute solo in Color My World, his eyes were going like this. And you could almost hear his mind saying, "Don't screw it up, don't screw it up, don't screw it up." The band came back the following year and Walt was with them. I was extremely grateful. He was a totally different person this time. He was relaxed, he moved around, his antics were some of the most fun we had. At one point he went over to our corner of the stage and stood on one of those boxes while he played. Another time, when people were crowding the stage the way they do, he got down on one knee and went like this so a lady could take a selfie with him. It was awesome. He became a full member of the band a few years ago and he deserves it. He is Chicago's sax man. While I was looking at the set list, I noticed this where it says Keith Guitar. Since it's at the top of the column, I just assumed that was a note for the roadies that this was Keith's list. I was mistaken. Here's what Keith Guitar means. That's much more interesting than my idea, and he ended it with this. If you've seen this video or the soundstage A&E by request celebrating their 35th anniversary, you also saw Keith Howland sing that song. Not anymore. Wait a minute, who's that guy?
Give it up, guys, for the newest member of Chicago, Mr. Jeff Coffey.
Jason Scheff left a while back for personal reasons, and Jeff Coffey took his place. This guy is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because he made eye contact with me and gave me a nod there. You can see from that clip how comfortable he is and how much fun he's having. He also has that perfect tenor voice that carries their high-range songs like this one. They gave him plenty of chances to shine, including 2 songs that I didn't recognize. At the REO Speedwagon concert I mentioned, after they were done, Dave and Bruce came out and started tossing their picks to the audience. Unfortunately, I was too far back to get one, and there was a nice railing 4 rows ahead of me designed to keep people like me from going down to the expensive seats, so I didn't get one that time. About half an hour before the Chicago concert ended, my wife suggested I go down there to the stage to see if I could get a pick this time. By this time, the security guys were letting people crowd the stage like that, so I did. I was right in front of one of the speakers and it was actually blowing my shirt. It was incredible. I could see the texture on his pink shoes. When he was over there by his microphone, I could see his individual pick strokes. This was far and away the best concert experience I have ever had. It was almost like meeting them.
When you called me up this morning, told me about the new love you found, I said I'm happy for you, really happy for you. Found someone else.
I've loved this band since their first single. I used to have all of their albums, including the 2-record Carnegie Hall one. One day I stupidly left the whole stack of records in a hot car, and that was that. I switched to cassette tapes and kept listening. As most of us know, after Terry Kath accidentally killed himself, they needed a raspy voice to carry on the songs he used to sing. They wound up with Bill Champlin, whom I never liked, and he just got worse as he got older. I was so happy when they finally canned him, but who would they get to replace him now?
If you see me walking by, and the tears are in my eyes, away. And if we meet on the street someday, and I don't know what to say, look away, baby, look away.
Lou Pardini has been with them for many years now, and his voice is so much better suited to their music than Bill Champlin's ever was, it's not funny. He is dynamic, his voice is powerful, and oh, can he play that keyboard. He also knows the right thing to say to a friendly crowd.
This is our second night here. Last night we were here, it was a great crowd, but you guys got them beat. Are you having fun?
Oh, yeah.
I hope he's with them for decades to come. All things must end, and as they usually do, they finished up with 25 or 6-4. When it was done, I was standing right there at Keith Howland's spot, ready to catch a pick if he started tossing them. I'm glad I got up here when I did. I only see 3 left on that stand. Except, unlike most other guitarists I've seen, he doesn't toss them. He hands them to people very carefully. He had several picks stuck to the microphone stand down near the bottom, probably for just this purpose. And I couldn't help noticing that he was only giving them to the good-looking women. Now, as a fan of feminine pulchritude myself, I can appreciate that. But it could mean I wouldn't get one since I'm a dorky-looking man. He was squatted down right in front of me, so when we made eye contact, I nodded toward the stand and said, "Could I get one?" He looked a little surprised, but reached over and got one for me. But he couldn't give it to me quite yet, because he had to run over for the full band bow. He was on our end of the chain of men, so he took his bow while holding this pick out to his side. I couldn't help thinking my pick was part of that. He came back and handed it to me, and here it is. It's among my treasures. It has the Chicago logo on one side and his autograph on the other. I'm going to get a little plastic display case for it to keep it fairly pristine. This was easily the most amazing concert I have ever been to, and not just because I got close enough to smell their sweat. They stretched this concert out as long as they possibly could, and Jimmy Pankow can tell you why.
Good wine, good music, great night. It's a real thrill to be back, especially that you are back, because without all of you, this doesn't mean a damn thing.
It's all for us. Chicago has always been about being true to the fans and giving the fans the best they possibly can, and that hasn't changed in 50 years. They only have 3 original members left touring, but so what? REO Speedwagon has 1. That means nothing. The question is, are they true to the band's sound, philosophy, and adoration of their fans? In Chicago's case, the answer is an unqualified yes. One of the most fun things about them is the way everybody gets a chance to shine. In an era when it was normal for a band to have one lead singer, front man or woman who basically got all the attention, Chicago came along and said, we can do better than that. They have a whole bevy of excellent singers who can take a lead in a song, at least 6 people who can take an instrumental solo, and nobody tries to hog the spotlight. They all get their chance, and we get this incredible music. And let's be honest, shall we? This music is timeless. There's not a generation alive or coming up that can't enjoy it and benefit from it. When Robert Lamb says, does anybody really know what time it is? It doesn't matter who you are or what generation you are. It makes you stop and think, am I a slave to the clock? What's my life all about? Is it more than that, or am I in a time-bound rut? When Lou Pardini sings, if you see me walking by and the tears are in my eyes, look away. Anybody who's ever had a broken heart can identify and draw something from that song.
Now being without you takes a lot of getting used to. Should have learned to live with it, but I don't want to.
I've been there. In 2011, my wife of 30 years and I divorced. I thought I'd like being single again, and you know what? It sucked. I went on dates with a few women, and none of them were her. I should learn to live without her, but I don't want to. Thankfully, the divorce was amicable and we were still friends and we talked all the time. We got some counseling, both got our heads together, and by the grace of God, we got remarried and we're happier than ever. She really is a hard habit to break, and I don't want to. This song reaches right into my heart. And by the way, they followed that up with You're the Inspiration. I think they've been studying my life. Even their delightful anti-Nixon song, A Song for Richard and His Friends, can be rebranded a song for Donald and his friends or whatever president you want to rag on. Saturday in the Park, I Just Want to Be Free. All these songs express universal feelings and attitudes, and they're going to keep being played for a very, very long time. As for the band themselves, may they continue for another 50 years, and may I be alive to see their 100th anniversary. I'll only be 114. That's doable. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and all that crap.